Although I have already discussed the unique polytheistic religious system which, in varying forms, dominated the practices and beliefs of the Mediterranean world during the classical period, particularly during the Hellenistic and Roman ages, this does not accurately capture all aspects of Greco-Roman religion. Another key aspect, which I will discuss in this video, is the place of mystery religions, the practice of sects who, although extremely pluralistic in their differing religious practices, share a common theme of initiation into secret rites and exploring life beyond death. These mystery religions have been much debated in scholarly circles, firstly as to whether the term can be coherently applied across a broad spectrum of religious groupings, and secondly the relationship between these groups and later Christianity. Many different groups have been described as belonging to the label mystery religions, including the famous religious traditions such as the Eleusinian mysteries, the Dionysian mysteries, and the Orphic mysteries. However, some scholars suggest that the paucity of evidence and the plurality of practices of which we know instead represents a variety of dissimilar traditions. Although raising an important point, there are some commonalities between these different traditions which deserve attention and which I will describe later. The second question, which is to do with Christianity, has a twofold problem. The first issue has to do with sources, where because of the mystery religion's secret nature, we have very few accounts dealing with their nature and their rites. However, one group who did write extensively on this topic were Christians, who attacked mystery religions as demonic imitations, demonstrating how some of the temporally closest sources are hostile to the subject of our study. The second problem within this issue of Christianity is that in the modern era, many scholars of religion have attempted to link the rites and practices of mystery religions directly to the practices of early Christianity. Although there are some apparent linkages, such as the idea of purification, rebirth, and an immortal soul, these concepts were not unique to the mystery religions alone, and in some cases, such as baptism, can be directly linked to contemporary Jewish practices. The actual practices of the differing mystery religions is difficult to ascertain, due to the paucity and hostility of sources as mentioned above. However, it appears that for the most of these sects, they were open to all people, women and men, slave and free, notably excluding the influential Mithras religion of the late Roman Empire. Potential initiates would undergo a series of rites, usually involving purification, sacrifice, and rituals that indicated their induction into the mysteries. These would often go on for some time, potentially days, and could be quite expensive depending on the types of sacrifices required. These rites were administered by a select group of priests, sometimes of a hereditary nature, and after being initiated, the initiates would be bound to secrecy, both as to the specific practices of the initiation and the nature of the divine revelation. Some mystery religions only had a single level of initiation, while others had multiple. It is reported in the Mithraic religion that 7 layers of initiation, each further binding the initiate into the institution of the mysteries and revealing further esoteric knowledge. The mysteries were often focused on a singular divine figure, such as the Eleusinian mysteries and Demeter, the goddess of harvest, and the Dionysian mysteries and Dionysus, the god of wine, and the Mithraic religion and Mithras, a Persian deity. Many mysteries were also influenced by the Orphic tradition, a series of mystic writings by a semi-legendary poet who himself inspired an Orphic mystery religion. However, the mysteries were not necessarily exclusive of the traditional practices of Greco-Roman religion, and many initiates not only participated in the day-to-day religious practices of their cities, towns, and states, but were also able to be initiated into several different mysteries. In fact, one emperor of Rome, Julian the Apostate, was said to have been initiated into 3 different mystery sects. The actual beliefs and esoteric knowledge that were practiced within these different mystery religions is, unfortunately, somewhat opaque to us. However, it does appear that the mysteries were often linked with the underworld, death, rebirth, and the idea of an immortal soul. These ideas were not unique to the mysteries, perhaps drawing from Platonic, Pythagorean, Indic, or even earlier Indo-European sources, but stood in contrast to the common belief of many in the Greco-Roman world of either an unattractive life as a shade in the underworld, or even a rejection of an afterlife at all, with this view best captured on the gravestone inscriptions which have survived to this day. I wasn't, I wasn't again, I don't care. Although little of the practice of mystery religion has survived down to this day, what is known is that they remained an important part of the Greco-Roman world until they were persecuted into oblivion in the 4th century CE by the newly ascendant Christians. The mysteries are, however, important to understand as they were influential on the Neoplatonist movement of late antiquity, and what was also plausible that the mystery religions served as a key component of the non-Jewish reception of the Christian movement and influenced both early Christian practice in its esoteric, Gnostic, and more broad forms.